Greetings. Welcome to KQ. I'm Ken.
I'm Kevlon. We are the Galloway brothers coming to you once again from the mean streets of Montgomery, Alabama, where only the poor survive.
See.
So, today, what we're going to talk about is something very simple. This is a concept that each of us has to traverse throughout our days. We have to figure out what gives us the nerve to be as proficient or as good as we are, or in some cases as bad as we are. We're looking at this from the angle of the Republican Party, our number one topic. We always like to expose all of the depths of the pervasive idiocy that they protrude into our lives each and every day. So today, what we're going to talk about is how in the world do they muster up the nerve to do and say the things that they do. Can you think of any examples, my brother?
I can think of quite several. The whole thing that comes to my mind right off the bat is their whole consistent projection. The projection of Donald Trump and the maggots. So basically, everything that they are totally guilty of doing has been proven, has been reported on. If you follow this kind of stuff as closely as I do, every time they put something out about Hunter Biden this or Joe Biden that or the corrupt Biden's election fraud, I mean, it's just a whole gamut of things. Even as far as the border and border security. I mean, it's like the crossings of the border is way down right now, but you'd never hear that from a Republican.
No.
You'd never even know it. It's the worst crisis ever. Wow. Yeah, it's down like 75%, I think, from the...
Yeah, since the Title 8 came into effect, you know.
Right at the end of Title 42.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so what they do is they just project. So, for instance, Donald Trump and his sons, it's been widely reported that Donald Trump crushes up Adderall and sniffs it, and that Don Jr. is on heavy coke. So what do? They, Hunter Biden is a recovering crack addict. So they've been just so hardcore on that just to make you look over there to not notice the reports that Donald Trump crushes up Adderall and sniffs it, and every time he gets on TV, he's totally sniffing, and all of that, his sinuses are just totally blown out. But they want to accuse Hunter Biden, who's in recovery, he's on probation, he gets constant drug tests and everything to prove that he's not. But yeah.
It's a fat-free society over there.
Right, exactly. I mean, they went bananas when they found that little package of cocaine at the White House. And immediately tried to blame it on Hunter Biden, and then it turned into Kamala Harris and trying to blame it on Kamala. They said it was found by her car or somewhere over in the area where she parks. So they wouldn't be surprised if she had dropped it. I mean, they just project, but they're the ones that are totally drug addicts. They have to be.
Well, the thing about it is, we're not just saying it out of whole cloth. I think his name is Noel Castler. He used to be a hand at the Celebrity Apprentice show. He worked with them for years and years and years. He knows all about what Trump does. Everybody that worked there knew what Trump did. They actually witnessed him. He actually witnessed him sniffing Adderall. He's come out. Of course, everybody that ever worked for Donald Trump, they signed non-disclosure agreements. After Donald Trump decided he wanted to run the free world, Noel Castler was like, F it. I'm just coming out and I'm gonna attack this, and I'm gonna let everybody know what he is and what he's capable of. Now, if they sue me, they sue me, but he came on out and everybody else, basically, he tried to get some people to corroborate what he said, and they basically chickened out. They didn't want no legal troubles. They still need to work, you know, and you know how vindictive Donald Trump is, and they know too. So they decided not to pursue it, but it's a credible instance of implicating Trump for being one that snorts Adderall, and you can tell by the sniffing. I mean, you don't just sniff. I don't know if you sniff like that all the time, but I don't, you know. But that joker, he done blew them things out. And anybody that's watched a Donald Trump Jr. video can pretty much surmise that dude his nose is quite active. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's just one little bitty example. And if you look at that example, it's neither here nor there. That's not going to run my life or put food on my table, create a homeostasis where all races are equally afforded the ability to proceed and progress in this world. But let's look at some things where there actually rubber meets the road when you compare Republicans, not just Donald Trump, because remember, Donald Trump only exposed the symptoms that were present. The disease is born by the Republican Party, who glommed onto him to be their savior. But if we look at some examples, let's go back a little bit. Healthcare. There was a bill that was passed under Barack Obama, first time in God knows how long, that this country took a stand to say we're going to provide means to which the American people can have for-profit insurance. Whoop-de-doo, right? Yeah. It wasn't what we wanted, which was a Medicare for all option, but they decided to go ahead and push for the Affordable Care Act. What that did, first of all, first thing, let's remember, the Republicans hated it. Why? Because it was going to do something for average, everyday, ordinary people. Republicans do things that benefit the rich. The Affordable Care Act put a burden on the rich, those insurance companies, hospitals, and such, so that they make sure that they cover the American people and keep the American people able to get quality, affordable health care. They hated that. So what did they do? They railed against it for years and years and years. They tried to sabotage it. They passed laws in the House to literally repeal it over and over and over. Up to, I think, close to 70 times or more that they did that vote. And all the way through Obama's administration into Trump's administration. You may recall in 2018, they had a vote, and in the House, John McCain doing the old proverbial thumbs down. He was the last vote. If John McCain would have voted yes, then 20 million people would have been kicked out of their health care coverage. We would have brought back pre-existing conditions, meaning if you're a woman or if you're sick or any kind of disease that you've had, you no longer qualify for private insurance companies. Basically, they can deny you coverage. They can kick you out and keep you from getting coverage. They wanted to do that. They voted 70 times to do that on the Republican side. Every single Democrat voted against that. They stuck with the Affordable Care Act. It also, the Affordable Care Act took away lifetime caps. So if you get cancer or heart disease or something and your medical bills go over $1 million or whatever the number is, the insurance companies can kick you off and no longer cover you. It also gave people who were under the age of 26 the ability to stay on their parents' health care plan. My children just so happen to be on there to this day. All two of them that are still under the age of 26. This is what you call public policy that helps average, everyday, ordinary people. Well, on the Republican side, they totally tried to destroy it. And if you don't believe me yet, I'm going to just talk to you about Medicaid expansion. Medicaid expansion was a way to give people that made more money than was previously allowed, to give them the ability to join on to Medicaid as well. So I don't know the numbers specifically. You can look them up online. It's called Google. But let's say, for instance, they say if the family income is $26,000 a year, you do not qualify for Medicaid. That's too much money. Well, the old Obamacare plan, the Affordable Care Act, moved that number up so that more people could qualify. It's called a Medicaid expansion. Look around at all of the states that started out denying it. And was it a D by their name or an R?
Right.
All of the Republican states that you can name, except maybe a couple of few, decided they did not want to expand Medicaid. The federal government covered it 90% for the first 10 years, 100% for the first 10 years, and 90% thereafter. So it wouldn't have cost the states much money to go ahead and implement that plan, but they denied it anyway. The only thing they had to do was set up a doggone website and give people the ability to sign up. They did it in Kentucky. I think it's called Connect Plan in Kentucky. But they did it there, and it benefited hundreds of thousands of people. This is a way to drag people out of poverty, to create a baseline in society where there's not a crack that you can fall through to keep you from getting basic needs taken care of, like health care. And we bought into the idea of a for-profit health care plan in this country. It leaves a lot of people out, and a lot of people die every year because they don't have health care. The number is in the tens of thousands of people that, if only they had a health care insurance policy, a for-profit health care insurance policy, they might have had their lives saved. But the Republicans are fighting still to this day, tooth and nail, to make sure that Medicaid does not get expanded in even the state that I'm in now.
Right.
You know.
Absolutely.
And so, and in a lot of states, they lasted for about 10 years or so, and they said, okay, all right, we're gonna go ahead and sign up. You know, and the Republicans in certain states decided to go ahead and expand that Medicaid coverage. But if you ask any Republican that's in the House or the Senate, or somebody running for president right now, do you like what the Democrats do with health care? Oh, they will scream and yell to this day. Whereas at the same time, 20 million people have been covered under Obamacare. Over 20 million, it's closer to 30 now. The approval of Obamacare started out at like 25, 30, 40% before, as it was getting implemented. You know, they had little problems here and there, and the Republicans blew their gaskets. Oh, this is the worst thing ever. Oh, Obamacare, this is terrible, it's terrible. Why? Because it costs the insurance companies money. The insurance companies have to keep covering you if you're sick. They have to keep paying. They cannot charge you more for pre-existing conditions. But the Republicans, they want to say that the Democrats are horrible on health care, but at the same time, they want to bring back pre-existing conditions. They want to bring back lifetime caps. They want to take away that extra Medicaid coverage that got all these poor people health care. And they want to so in essence, translation, they want a certain amount of Americans of low income to go ahead and die, because that's what ends up happening if you implement their policy. Right. How can any rational, reasonable person look at the difference between the two parties and say that the Democrats are on the wrong side of that particular issue? Well, the fact of the matter is we can go issue by issue by issue by issue, and that's what this show is all about. This is just the first topic. Just blatant hypocrisy, blatant projection, blatant incompetence, and lack of respect for human people. These are the topics that we're going to be covering to show issue by issue that the Republicans just should not, and cannot be allowed to have the nerve to come in front of us and put themselves out as viable options to run this doggone country any longer.
All right. That's another one on the books. I think I might go ahead on and post this one. But it's been good seeing y'all. We will see you again.
K-Cube on Facebook.
Hit the subscribe.
Go ahead and like, and we can get you in. How do we get them in, Ken, to K-Cube?
It's free. They just go in and sign in. It's wide open. All you got to do is share it to people. They'll
subscribe, share it.
Yeah.
And just let people know that the whole point is average, everyday, ordinary American people need to pick the right type of government so that the government works for us and not for the rich. That is the only purpose, the only reason why we're here.
Right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
We love you.
We love you. Y'all have a good evening.
Peace, peace.